All the tilts that we send are pre-configured with certain values for the transmitters and the channels. By default, you should check that in the receiver tab of CleanFlight you have the mapping as aileron, elevator, throttle, and rudder. This is the mapping that corresponds to the channels in the receiver, as you see here. Especially is important to know the channel 5 and channel 6, because these are by default aux1 in the NACE, and is used potentiometer for changing between dynamic and fixed tilt. And the channel 6 is auxiliary 2, which we send by default with two modes, disarmed and then angle mode. You can obviously change it to a 3-position switch and add a second mode. The values, as I mentioned, for auxiliary 1 and dynamic tilting channel, you should put a range between 1300 and 1600. That's what we recommend. For the lower value, it doesn't matter what is this value as far as it's below 1500, because it's what that triggers the switch between dynamic and fixed arms tilt. The high value, 1600 here, it shouldn't be much more than 1500 unless you want to have arm tilt to forward with a very high angle. Auxiliary 2, as you see here, we send it pre-configured in the NACE with two modes. One mode and disarmed. So on the boundary we put it at 1400. So anything below 1400 will keep the tilt disarmed, and anything above this value we recommend well above. It will arm it and bring it to angle mode. So let's configure the auxiliary channels in the FlySky receivers, transmitters. Sorry. So it's very simple. So basically, this works for both this FlySky model and that we send with X8s, which X8s, by the way, can only use PPM receivers, because the 8 motors use part of the motors use some of the pins for the receiver inputs. So you keep the OK pressed, and then you go to setup, OK again, and then you go to auxiliary channels. And what we want to do is to, as we said, auxiliary 1 is for dynamic tilt or fixed tilt. We want to use a potentiometer, and in these transmitters are called VRA or VRV. So in this case it's already selected. If you have another value here, you just need to change it with up and down here to different potentiometers, switches, or whatever you want. You can obviously use a 2-position switch to a certain fixed tilt for the dynamic. And then when you want to, for the modes, we are going to configure it with a switch, 2-position switch, for example the SVVB, and that's the one. So we have, this is the 2-position switch that we have selected for the modes, and this is the potentiometer that we use for the dynamic tilting channel. And when you have done that, you just go out and you are ready to go.